anything's possible.
If you try and be patient, it pays off while you're waiting. The seeds you water will grow, the rest will follow. Cause this life's what you're making, and some rules are for breaking. Destiny will play its role, you know. What's meant to be will be, even when it's not easy. Live your life free, no boundaries, even when it's not easy. If you give love, you get love. If you give up, you get nothing. Can't you see? If you just believe anything's possible, don't rush too much. When it gets rough, get tough, sing with me. Through everything, anything is possible. Doesn't always make sense why some things gotta happen. Fight through the rain, cause you know the sun will follow. If you practice persistence, somebody's gonna witness. You're working hard and it shows, you know. What's meant to be will be, even when it's not easy. Live your life free, no boundaries, even when it's not easy. If you give love, you get love. If you give up, you get nothing. Can't you see? If you just believe anything's possible, don't rush too much. When it gets rough, get tough, sing with me. Through everything, anything is possible. Are you ready to go? I've waited for a long time. I must be out of my mind. Now I'm ready for this to start. When the lights go out, it's so dark. When the moment comes, we'll find the part. Are you ready to go? Go, go, go. Are you ready to go? Go, go, go. Are you ready to go? Go, go, go.
All righty. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our presentation on Camp Teetonkah this evening. My name is Nathan Wells, and I'm the program director for Camp Teetonkah. Just a few reminders we get started. You all are muted and your video is off. So if you have any questions or anything like that during the presentation, you can use the chat feature. There's a little bubble with 3 little dots down at the bottom of your screen. That you'll be able to type it, and Diana will be working in the background, and she'll be clicky-clacking away on answering the questions, all the questions that we can, and we'll try to answer as many as we can throughout the presentation as well. All right, and with that, we will get started.
I just
Alrighty,
love
so
that. I have to just say, I love that. That was great.
if you didn't already know, our theme this year is Knights of the Round Table, or as medieval theme. So when you guys come to camp, you guys will be playing the Knights of Camp Teetonkah, or the Protectors of Camp Teetonkah, and the staff will play different parts of the nobility. And we'll get into the nitty gritty of that in the next slide here. But yeah, so it'll be like a giant Ren fair basically. There'll be tents. No, of course there'll be your regular tents, and there'll be hats and crowns and all that fun kind of stuff. But just some general program highlights that I want to hit while we're here. We do have an open program feature, which is pretty cool. So what that is all the program areas are open, and you can go out and you can basically do pretty much anything in that area that is offered during like a normal program session time or anything like that. Or they'll have like a set schedule of what you can do. We'll be offering this during this time. And then we have pre-camp program sign up for Weeblos, or what we like to call choose your own adventure Weeblos, where they'll be able to go on the online registration system and register for their classes ahead of time. Not all of our classes are available for registration. There'll still be some walk-ins available at camp for you to do. And then we've got water activities that are right on Big Wolf Lake that we've got there. It's a great, big, beautiful lake that's that we have on our property there. Gorgeous view of everything. And then of course we have BMX bikes that kids can take out and ride around camp and just have a blast and get dirty. All right, next slide, please. All right, so how you guys will see theme throughout the camp. So first off, as I was talking about, the staff will play different parts of the nobility. So we have staff will be like called different, so they won't be their traditional camp director or program director as you are at camp. As you see there on the screen there, they will be Diana, our camp director. She'll be the High Queen of Camp Teetonkah. And then I will be the king, and our business manager, Peggy Etheridge, will be the queen. And then it moves on down from there. And we'll let you know, don't worry. I know Diana's gonna pound it into everyone's head that she's the High Queen there. And then you'll see costumes of some sort as you're on the property, whether it's your crown, hats. Some staff might be in full costumes if they're brave enough. But we also welcome your scouts to come in full costume if they want to. If they have anything, more the merrier to bring it and wear it. We will enjoy it. Also, in the dining hall this year, it's going to be a little different kind of than what you're used to seeing at a scout camp. So the big difference this year is we won't be doing the scout sign to get everyone's attention for announcements. We will, Bob, you sang a song the last time. I'm sorry. Sorry, I saw that and I had to mention it. So yeah, so we'll be doing fanfares to get everyone's attention. We'll make a big deal of it, like we'll walk down the middle aisle, make a big presentation out of it to get everyone's attention for our points of information. We are also planning on doing a themed meal, like a themed dinner of some sort. So if you've ever been to Medieval Times, the restaurant, the dinner and a show, the nearest one here is in Chicago. But it's really cool. So basically what it is, it's going to be kind of like finger food kind of thing. So you'll have your plates, your cups, but you won't have any silverware. We are still working out the nitty gritty details of that with our COVID policies, but I'm sure it's going to be perfect and fun as it always is. Okay, next slide. So I just wanted to hit on some of the program areas that we have in camp. We have our nature center where kids will be learning all about nature. So they'll learn plant identification. They'll be how to tell how old the tree is. And we've got Bill Bryfolk coming to be our nature director. So he has all his fun stuff that he always ever has to touch and play with and all that fun stuff. We have a Cubcraft and activity field. They're in the same area. So in Cubcraft, you'll be doing a wood project, of course. We've got catapults for you guys to build and paint. And then in the activities field, there'll be soccer, basketball, like stuff for you guys to play around with. There's really not like a set program in that area. You guys can just come and hang out and play like Gaga and all that fun stuff. And of course, we have shooting sports. So we have 3 shooting sports areas on our property. We have the wrist rocket range, the archery range, and the BB range. And of course, we'll be offering the shooting sports award and the pins for all 3 of those areas as well. We have the STEM Center. So in the STEM Center, there's robots, there's 3D printers, there's 3D printing pens, which are awesome because you can 3D draw in the air. So much fun. And then, of course, there's like different like circuit boards and stuff that you guys can build during that time as well. And then, of course, we have the waterfront on Big Wolf Lake that you guys will be able to enjoy as well. Some areas that aren't listed on here, we have the Weather Wax Dining Hall, which is of course, it's our dining facility on the property. It's big, it's gorgeous. It has a giant outdoor pavilion off the back that overlooks the lake, and I absolutely cannot wait to share that view with you guys at camp. Enjoying our meals together. So next slide, please. So brand new this year, we have Family Overnight Camp. And with this, it's a 3-day, 2 nights of course, awesome fun at camp. And you can bring the entire family. So it kind of won't be set up as your traditional scout camp. It'll be more set up as like a camping experience for your family to come out and enjoy. There won't be the scouting, there'll be still scouting aspects, but not as broad as you would see in your Cub or Weeblo's overnight camp. So as long as you have a registered Cub Scout or Weeblo, you guys can come out and enjoy camp with your entire family. That's grandparents, brothers, uncles, all that fun stuff. Come relax with the entire family. And then here on the next slide, this is just a map of Camp Teetonkah of what you guys will be walking around on. We will be using the campsites that are to the left of the upper parking lot by the Weather Wax Dining Hall. Just, of course, the Hopkins Center is the administration center. And then what's listed as the Jackson Scout Shop on this map is actually the Hunt Building, and that's the STEM Center. The Hickory's campsite is our Cubcraft area. And then the waterfront is not pictured on here. It's down a little bit lower off Wolf Lake there.
Hey, Nathan, can I interrupt really quickly?
Absolutely.
We do have an updated map. I just got that done, and it is a little bit different, but in general, this is pretty much where everything is. As Nathan said, the waterfront, where you say Weatherwax Dining Hall, which is on the bottom of the screen. If you see the little line that goes down towards the little guy in blue with a canoe over his head, that's actually where the waterfront is. So the waterfront goes down there. Nathan, can you explain to people a little bit about where their campsites would be?
Yeah, so your campsites are in what we call the campsite loops. Like I said, they're off to the left of that. So you see where the Weather Wax Dining Hall is. They're to the left of that. So we've got the Maples campsite, Elms, Beaches, Tulips campsite, all of those over there. They're also what we call the campsite loop. Because it's a little loop. And they're set off the road, so you'll be able to go, you'll be able to drive back and drop your stuff off at your campsite and unload your stuff, and then you'll come back to the lower parking lot, which is up by the Hopkins Center Camp Master building there on the map. I'm pointing at it here, but you can't see me point at it as I sit here and point at it on the screen.
I was doing the same thing earlier. I'm like, right here where you can't see it. But for any of you guys that have never been to Teetonkah before, it is not a very large camp. So all of the areas are pretty close together. I'd probably say the furthest would be Poplar's campsite, which is, if you're looking at the screen, it's the tent pretty much it's the green tent to the right above the Camp Master cabin area. That's probably the furthest, as well as our ranges, which is all the way to the left. And I'd say those are our two furthest areas. And then if you're going to make a triangle to the waterfront, which is south, or shall we say southwest in this map. So it would be the triangle, and it's not very far at all. Nathan, maybe I was going to say, how long do you think it would take to walk from the ranges to the waterfront, which is the furthest two spots?
It'll probably take you 15 minutes.
I would say 10 minutes. It depends how slowly you walk, but I would say 10 minutes tops. So it's a very small camp, and everything is all right. It's all right there for you.
All right, go ahead and hit for the next slide. Yeah, so just a mock. This is kind of what our schedule for the Cub overnight camp is going to look like. We'll go over it here. As you can see on day 2, it's kind of like a block schedule, as we call it. So you'll be moving with your cohorts and campsites, which we'll get into cohorts here in just a little bit. and you'll just be moving around camp to each area, and you'll hit every area throughout the day, and then we'll move into open program that evening, and then open program on day 3. Just want to hit the next slide for me, please. And then the family camp schedule kind of looks the same as Cub Camp, except it's all open program, and of course you can move around with your family. This is what the Weeblos overnight schedule kind of looks like. As you can see, yeah, it's really tiny because when it's printed out, it fits on a front and back page, so it's really small here. But it follows the same guidance as an open program schedule. But on the schedule, there's little asterisks and stuff by areas that's on there that shows which programs are available for like that you have to sign up beforehand, or you can sign up at camp. I don't have that list in front of me of what we have that is signed up, but I can pull it up here in just a second. I'll read it off at the end here. But there's certain programs that you have to register for beforehand, and those will be you can see those on the website, and we're actually going to hit that on the next slide. Next slide, please. Sorry. So with class sign up will go live in April. But the most important factor of being able to sign up for classes for Weeblos is that when you go to register your Scout, you need to select your event group. And there's only one event group. It says Weeblos Resident Camp, actually. And it has an explanation on you need to select this if you want to sign up for classes. And it's required for all Cub Scouts to select in the registration, so hopefully it won't let you continue without selecting it. And once you select that, you'll get access to be able to register for classes. We can cover that in our next leaders webinar next month, and we'll be able to explain that more in detail on how to do that. You do need to be paid in full for your reservation for camp before you can register for classes. All right, next slide, please. So we are moving Camp Teetonkah into the 21st century. And how we are doing this is you'll see these QR codes plastered all over camp. They'll be in the dining hall, your program areas, campsites, in the bathrooms probably. You scan this QR code and the screen on the right there will pop up, and you can view any of the announcements or any of the leaders meeting talking points that we have in camp. So after every meal, we usually have announcements to tell everyone that like what's going on in camp, or this program's canceled or something like that. And sometimes people are in the bathroom and they miss those. So you can walk up and scan this QR code with your phone, open it up, select announcements, you can see what we talked about. Also for the parents who aren't at the leaders meeting, or just you forgot what was mentioned about this portion of the leaders meeting, if you click on leaders meeting there, it'll pop up the leaders meeting talking points, and any other leaders meeting that we have on camp, because we normally have one on the first day. And it has a lot of also nice features in it as well. Next slide, please. Right, so the camp line.
Can I interrupt really quickly?
Go for it.
I've got a couple of questions here I've been answering in the chat, but I just want to say it out loud for anybody that's interested as well if they're not reading the chat. And I just want to make sure we get to it before you continue on. So one of the questions was, we've never been to camp before, and hey, can we come and see it? And my answer is yes, please. We'd love for you to come to camp. May 15th is the day that we're doing the Take a Hike-a-thon, and you are very welcome to come to camp on May 15th, because we'll be having people there to take the hike as the scouts and scouters there, as well as we'll be having some program areas. So we would love for you to come then. And then if not, you can email myself at diana.marsh@scouting.org, and we can always set up a time for you to come. Another question, Nathan, is about the waterfront. Somebody wanted to know about waterfront activities. So I said I'd answer that as well. Waterfront activities will really depend on what the water level looks like at the camp. So this is our first time running camp at this camp location. It is a gorgeous waterfront and it is huge, but I've heard a rumor that the water is not super deep. So when the weather becomes warmer, where Nathan and I can, put on the bathing suits and tromp out into the water a little bit deeper, we're going to see how deep that water is to determine exactly what waterfront activities we have. We will be having. We do have the Wibbit pieces. If for you guys that don't know what a Wibbit piece is, are those big inflatable things that go on the water, like jungle gyms, like pyramids and stuff that you can climb on. We do have those that might be available, as I said, depending on that depth of the water. So those are the two things I wanted to answer first, Nathan, and I'll let you go and we'll do some more questions later. Thank you for letting me interrupt you.
No problem. Yeah, so with the camp-wide game. So the camp-wide game, as I like to call it, is capture the flag got real. And what I mean by that is it's capture the flag kind of like with a little twist. Instead of trying to take someone else's flag, you're actually trying to spread your flag all over the camp. We'll get into the nitty-gritty at camp about that. But you're trying to basically rule the entire camp with as your kingdom, basically. And so there'll be, of course, rules and stuff that you'll be able to we have to follow to put the flags up and down and all that fun stuff. And then, of course, the winner gets something very special at the closing Fireball. Speaking of Fireball, we having Fireball. The opening Fireball, if you've never been to camp before, the opening Fireball is basically more staff run. It's where you sit and you get to watch everyone. You get to watch all the staff. So there'll be all the staff intros. The staff will be doing skits and songs, and it'll be your very first night on camp. And then the closing Fireball is where it gets a little fun for you guys. The closing Fireball is what we like to call Scout Ran. It's where units in campsites will be able to perform skits and songs of their own. So you guys can do like I said, you can do a skit as a campsite, or you can do it as a unit if you like to. Just basically to have fun. And that's where we also give the camp session awards, which is where each area secretly has their own award that they'll be presenting to scouts at the end of the session. It may be something that they tell you about right away, or like they might not tell you. Next slide, please. Now we're going to get into advancement a little bit. So the big portion of advancement is summer camp is not about advancement. However, while your scouts are having fun, these are like some of the things that you guys might earn. The stuff that is the activities that are listed on this screen here are just the big ones that they'll earn. And of course there's plenty more of advancements that they can earn. So of course the big question is right now is how will you know? So on the next slide here, I'll answer that question. So when you arrive and when you depart from camp, you'll be getting this piece of paper that has, it's broken down by area, by rank, and by, of course, a belt loop or pin of what you could have earned when you step foot on that property to the moment you left. I have sat down countless hours going through each of the books and pulling out all the requirements. So we've earned, like, there's requirements on these pages that if you just walk around camp that you can earn these things. And they tell you what requirements was fulfilled. Wevo's is a little different also with the programs that are scheduled, that you have to schedule through the registration system. Those requirements are already pre-populated in the system. So your registration contact will be able to pull those and see which each scout earned, because the area directors will be marking those off as we go. And then I'm going to pass it off to our camp director, Diana Marsh, to do our COVID stuff.
Great, thank you, Nathan. I'm just trying to write this one more last question here down so I don't miss anything. And we will be answering the questions. I know that there's a couple of questions here, and I said I'll answer some live, and I'm going to go over COVID a little bit, and then we're going to do some questions and answers. So we'll make sure that we get all of those done after that. So I know one of the big questions, if you haven't been on our webinars yet, is our COVID preparations at our camps. And I can tell you every single one of our camps have been deeply involved with making sure that our programs and the way we run our programs are safe for all of our campers to come. One of the things that I have here is we have a 14-day home pre-screening. That's something that we have in the works right now and that we are going to be implementing is that anybody that comes to camp, we're gonna give you, we're gonna send you a sheet pretty much that is, it's a home screening. So like, hey, how are you feeling today? You know, your temperature, you take your temperature for the 14 days prior to camp so that we know that when you come to camp, you haven't been feeling sick. You know, you don't just come to camp and be like, oh, I'm sick, but I'm here, I'm okay now. We want to make sure that we're preventative, so we don't bring that to camp with us. Our check-in process is going to be a little bit differently than you are used to when you come to camps. Normally when we come to camps, you know, you park your car, you get out, you go to the office or whatever it might be. This year we're going to have it a little bit differently, and each camp is going to be a little different. So if you're curious about how camps are going to do it, you know, this is the way we're going to do it. DBRA might be totally different and Gerber might be totally different as well, but you can always contact myself and I can always get you in contact with their camp director, or if you know the camp director's information that's located on the website, you can always contact them as well. So we are going to have a car check-in process. What I mean by that is when you get to camp, we're going to have staff available that literally checks you in your car. So nobody has to get out of their car prior to reaching the campsite. So I will be there, Nathan will be there, and the rest of our staff will be there to make sure that we collect any forms that are required, and then we also will be taking temperatures. Then from there, you'd go straight to your campsite, and then you can unload, and then we'd park the cars, and then we'd continue camp from there. So we're gonna do the whole check-in process in the cars. Clearly, when we do swim tests, that won't be in your car. You'll be able to get out and do that, but that piece will be in your car. We're also gonna be doing daily temperature readings for everybody at camp. What I mean by that is we're gonna do it in sites. So we're gonna, every morning in the site, we're gonna make sure that we take temperatures for everybody and we document that. And that document goes to the office and we hold that there for the whole duration of the camp and afterwards, and we'll be filing all of that. Masks will be worn at all times. I know people ask this all the time, what happened if I got a vaccine, et cetera, et cetera. The answer is masks will be worn at all times by staff and campers. The only times that you will not have to wear your mask is when you are in your campsite sleeping, so in your own tent sleeping, not just in your campsite and walking around, but in your campsite, in your tent sleeping. If you're eating, because it's kind of hard to, you know, I've tried it before. You try to move the mask, try to put the food up, doesn't work very well. So eating, sleeping, or swimming, or at the waterfront. When you're at the waterfront and on the water itself, you will not have to wear a mask. Oh, I see all these questions coming through. Tents, this is new again this year. We're going to be doing single-use tents except for family members. So if there is a parent and child that come, you can stay in the same tent. But what we're not doing this year is we're not putting 2 or 3 or 4 youth in a tent. We're also asking that if you have your own tents, to bring your own tents. We will provide a tent if you or your families in your units do not have one or do not have means to get one. We can provide a tent for you. One of the main reasons why we're doing this, once again, is the sanitation of it, right? We don't want a family using a tent and then something happens and then another family comes in and they use that same tent. We want to make sure that that we keep the area as clean as possible. So we are asking that you do bring your own tents and that you will be using your own tents. Once again, if you do need tents, we have tents at camp and we have no problem lending a tent to you and or a family that needs it. They can, once they use it, we do ask that they would break it down and then we would put it in in a different spot than the ones that are going to go out. So you kind of have like the dirty pile and then the clean pile, and we'll make sure to always pull from that clean pile there. Hand washing stations, we will have hand washing stations at camp. We've put in new frost-free hydrants around in some of the campsites. So a lot of the campsites do have water in them and some of them have hand washing stations. We will also have hand washing stations at the dining hall. So before you go into the dining hall to get your food, we'll make sure that you go through the hand washing station and then you wash your hands. Not all of our program areas have running water. In cases like that, we will in all cases, actually in all program areas, whether there's water or not, we will make sure that there is hand sanitizer available to use. So all scouts and all scouters, so parents and scouts, will be using that when they come into each program area. Sanitizing of equipment after each period, we will make sure that when equipment is used, that it is sanitized. We want to make sure, once again, that we are leaving the equipment exactly how we got it. So in the mornings, all the equipment used, or all the equipment that is going to be used, will be sanitized every single morning. And then after every single use, that equipment will also be sanitized again. And then I have here in the cleansing of bathrooms and showers, we will make sure that we have a staff or two that sprays down and sanitizes our bathrooms and our showers on a regular basis to make sure those areas, because we know, those are the areas, I hate to say it, poop, right? Poops is something that can get everywhere, and it's not very sanitary. So we want to make sure that that area is cleaned on a regular basis, and we will make sure that is done for you. Those are all the big things when it comes to COVID. Clearly, in each program area, there's going to be something that's a little bit different. We're going to look at the space that we have at camp. In the ranges, usually you can have a max of 8. Can we still have a max of 8 with the space that we have? There are still little things that Nathan and I are working through. We're actually going to visit camp this weekend to go to our fireball and to sit down and to do 6 feet in between, each person that could be at the fire bowl. So we are taking steps to make sure that we run a safe camp. The other thing that we're going to be doing this summer is, which we've done in the past, so it's really nothing every different, is we're going to be moving around in pods or cohorts. And we've done that in the past with all of our cub camps. Usually you go around with your pack or your den and you travel together. And we'll be doing the same thing like that this year. It's just the numbers will be smaller. So we're looking at a group of 10 that you're going to be traveling with during your time at camp. So if anybody has any questions on the COVID preparations, as I said, it's always a fluid and a fluid moving document, a fluid moving thing. What the governor is saying recently, the limits have gone up or they've gone down or whatever it might be, letting us to do more program. We are so excited about that. But we do have some of these in place, and we want to make sure that we let you know as soon as we find out what it is going to be. So you can be prepared for your trip to camp and you can be comfortable with it. No, we're not hiding anything. We're not shoving anything under the rug. We want to make sure that you are 100% comfortable with coming to camp this summer. All right, so with that, we do have a little video that our amazing marketing team has put together, and I'm going to have them show that to you now.
Alrighty, so if you need to get in contact with Diane and I at any time between now and when camp starts, this is our contact information. It's really simple. It's our first name dot our last name at scouting.org. We will be open to, of course, questions in the email, but we do have a little question time here. If you'd like to put your questions in the chat, we can get them answered. I know there's a few here that are still from COVID-19.
Yep. We do have some questions, but before we get to the questions, we do have one more video that we just did that Chris and his team did, and I don't know, but I think you guys are the first to see it, and I'm super excited. So if we could see that, that would be great. Thank you, Chris. I love it. What do you think, Nathan?
I love it.
Thumbs up, right? Cub Scouts rule. I agree. Cub Scouts has always been near and dear to my heart, and I still absolutely love them. Without the Cub Scouts, you don't have the Scouts BSA program. That's what I always say. So thank you, Chris, for showing that with us for us tonight. I absolutely love it and adore it. We will get to your questions now. But Nathan, I think we can kind of go back and forth. I do have some that I wrote down from earlier. Somebody wanted to know about this schedule and if we could have it at a different location so somebody could actually see it so it's not itty bitty. But I do want to let you know that all of our parent and leaders guides have been uploaded to our website. So they are on the Outdoor Adventures homepage as well as the Cub Overnight web page as well. So if you download the parent leaders guide, there will be a mock schedule in there for you as well, so you can go through there and there'll be more information in there for you as well that Nathan and I have put together for you. So that's it about the leaders guides. Somebody had a question about phones and could scouts have phones in camp? So here is my answer to you. As a parent and as a leader, that is totally your call whether you want your scout to have a phone at camp. Normally we say if you're gonna send your scout with your leaders to camp, then maybe your leader should hold on to that phone so your scout's not walking around camp with it and destroys it. I mean, I can tell you if I gave my 6-year-old my phone, he would probably be on it all the time. So I wouldn't give him my phone. But we are going to leave that up to you as parents and leaders. We're not going to be taking phones away from any scouts that come to camp. We're going to leave that up to the leaders that come to and the parents that come to camp. So that is, as I said, that is totally up to you. I can tell you, we don't have the best cell phone reception at camp. Nathan, I don't know how your phone works, but my phone's not awesome at camp. I've got spotty places. So it's a hit or miss when it comes to phones. The question was, can tigers come to camp? Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, yeah. My thing is with registrations, we recommend that you register as an entire unit, and that registration contacts or whoever's doing your registrations utilizes the parent portal so that you can get that information, and then you guys are all on one reservation and not scattered throughout the system.
Yeah, so any of you guys don't know, and we'll go over the parent portal in another webinar next month, but the parent portal is for if, say, the den signs up. So if the den signs up, they sign up the youth and they say, hey, we're going to have, I don't know, 8 youth come and 3 adults, awesome. And the unit decides they want to do the parent portal. What the parent portal does is it puts the payment, the second payment option onto the parents. So after that deposit, the initial deposit is paid, the parent portal allows a parent from there to log back onto that same registration to make the final payment instead of by the unit. Once again, it depends upon your unit, how you want to do the payments. Some units are perfectly good because they have scout accounts and, certain scouts have money in their scout accounts and they can pay summer camp that way. Or if you're more comfortable with using the parent portal, you can do both ways as well. Nathan, one of the questions was, what's the number of Webelos we're looking at at camp? Are there any limits for the attendance numbers?
Yes, there is. We are all of our sessions are currently capped at 150 participants. So that's both youth and adults. Of course, there is a wait list for you guys to get on. So if we can let you guys in, we will. But currently the number is 150 per session.
Thank you, Nathan. And what about, so I heard something about tigers going to camp. Can tigers go to camp?
Absolutely. There is no reason that a tiger can't come to camp and have the same amount of fun as a wolf and bear. Also on that note, if say like you can't make it to both Webelos and Cub overnight camp, your Webelo can come to Cub overnight camp, or your bear can go to Webelos overnight camp. It's just that if they do that, it's what the program is more tailored to, but we are always open to reworking the program a little bit to give them advancement opportunities and activities that they can do.
Yeah, and the answer to that tiger question too, a lot of people say, can my tigers come? So if your scouts are tigers right now, they actually, we say, graduate into the next rank before the summertime. So it would be really, from the tigers, they would go to wolves. So they would be considered a wolf for the summer program. So any of you guys that are thinking about signing up, in which camp do we want to go? So if you have current bears, they would be going to Webelos camp for this summer. Doesn't mean that they have to. If the Cub overnight sessions work better for you, you are very welcome to. But if you do want to do the advancement for the Webelos, then you would register for the Webelos overnight versus the Cub overnight. All right. I think those are all the questions that I wrote down. So Nathan, if you got more, I'm going to read through and make sure we didn't miss anything. I can take all the COVID ones.
Okay.
So
Okay. So I got it. Like, there's a couple tent questions here.
Sure.
So if your scout is not comfortable being in a tent alone, then of course, like their parent can stay in there with them, or if they have a brother or sister, they can also come in with them. Also with cots will be provided if you get a tent from the camp. So, but if you bring your own tent, then you're at will to bring your own cot.
Very good point. It's one or the other, right? You get your tent, you get your cot, right? There are some questions about masks and doctor's notes. I can answer those offline. I know, as I said, if there are any specific, doctor's notes or whatnot, you can give me a call, or you can send me an email, and we can make sure we can work things out, because we want to make this camping experience for you and your scout exciting, and we want to make sure that you guys come and we're safe for you guys as well as the rest of the campers. So please feel free to email me and we can talk about that.
So yeah, there's a question about a Special Wheels crossover type program. We will have the half patch ceremony for the Arrow of Lights again, where if once at the end of their camp session, they'll get a half of a patch, and then if they go to another Michigan Crossroads Council camp for their Scouts BSA camp, they'll get the other half.
It's pretty cool. I mean, I can't tell you how many scouts have gotten that half a patch, and then they're like, I need to get the other half. And I said, well, next summer you go to Scouts BSA and you'll get that other half. And then when they get that other half, you put that patch together and it actually makes a full picture, which is really cool. We had a question about temperatures. Once again, there are going to be a lot of questions. There's a lot of COVIDs. There's a lot of what if this and what if that, what if this. And then we are going to be prepared with all of your answers. If somebody, that's why we're taking temperature checks every day, right? So we have our 14-day pre-screening, and then if we notice on your pre-screening, you answer no, or something's wrong, or somebody has a temperature, then you cannot come into camp property. But if everything checks out and we check you into camp property and everything's great, and there's a temperature that we read high on somebody that morning, we would take them over to our health lodge, and we would keep an eye on whomever that scout is. We would remove them from the group so the group can continue on. We would remove them, and then we would we'd have them with our medical officer, and we'd keep an eye on them and see where they are from there. So that's what we would do. So the whole group would not have to leave because this one person got a temperature, but we would keep an eye on it. There was a unit also of cohorts. So I'm not a huge fan of the word cohort. I like groups. I like pods. I don't know, Nathan. I don't know what word we want to use this summer, if we can come up with a cool themed name, but I'm going to call it your group. Your group that comes in. One of them says, hey, you know, if we have a den of 25 kids, can we stay together as a cohort? The answer is no. We want to keep our cohort small, but the thing is, you can still travel together, right? So when Nathan makes up the program, he always tries to make sure that the units travel together. So you'll be in 3 different groups, because there's 15 and a max of 10, right? So you'll be in 3 different groups. And adults, that was another question, adults are considered a part of that group. So if you came with, let's say, 3 adults, you can put 1 adult in each group, but you're still going to be traveling together, just in 3 different groups, if that makes sense to all of you. So then your adult leaders are not split up. Your parents are not split up. If you only came with 2 adult leaders and you have 3 groups, one group, even though it doesn't have an adult leader in that specific group, they're still going to be traveling with you, just in a separate group. So one group will be over here, the next group will be 6 feet away, you know, or, you know, over there. So you'll still be able to see all of you at the same time. I hope that answered the question that was asked. So yes, the pod number does include adults. So the group of the pod, that includes the adults.
Schedule their own activities. That's why we had to push back the, we actually, if you probably didn't know this, we actually pushed back the time of opening the scheduled programs. Yeah, we pushed that back to April because we are actually, there is a way in our system to register cohorts for programs. And we are working on getting that set up so that cohorts, like a group of 4, or can register together for a program and go together as a cohort.
Thank you, Nathan. I have a question here. Can Lions go? So if you have current Lions, so they are Lions right now and they're working on their Lion book, you know, it sounds like my son, they will be Tigers during the summertime. So yes, current Lions will be Tigers. So during the summer, they can go to camp. Now, if you have anybody that's younger, so if you're recruiting, which is kind of weird, if you're recruiting in that time frame, technically, Lions cannot go to an overnight council or district camp. But if I am reading this right, kindergarten in the fall, that would be your current Lions. They will be Tigers for this summer, so you will be good. Thank you. I'm guessing was that Nate? Thank you for somebody for posting the Leaders Guide online. I appreciate that. Nathan, you answered the Webelos question.
Yep.
Yes. Is it Kat or Kate Shannon? I hope I answered that for you. Correct. No Lou Lions. Current Lions will be Tigers in the summertime, so they could go. That is correct. Awesome. Great. So if there are any more questions, now is the time to ask. As I said, Nathan and I will be having another webinar. We won't be scheduling it the first Monday of every month, but we will get word out. We'll make sure that that goes through the Michigan webinar, the Michigan newsletter that we send out, the Michigan Scouter. Will make sure it gets there, and we'll make sure it gets on the website as well. Registration is currently live. So if you're like, yes, I'm ready to sign up for camp, definitely go for it. Go do so if you have questions. Nathan is super quick on email. So if you send him an email, he's just like, he's quick, let me tell you. This recording will be posted, so you can always come back to see it if needed. Yes. Sam, look at that. Sam, I answered your question. I didn't even know you asked it. So yes, registration is open for all of our camps. Perfect. Well, thank you everybody again for being on our call this evening. We tried to keep it under an hour and we did it. Yay. Hopefully you guys are excited about the summer camp as much as we are. Once again, we know it's new for you, it's new for us, but we're super excited. We love the camp. I'll be at camp this weekend, being camp master. So if any of your units want to sign up, don't forget, you can sign up and do weekend camping and come to beautiful little Camp Teetonkah and see it before summer camp starts. Any questions? Once again, myself, Nathan, please email. Registration is live on our website. All the information is there. The leaders guides is there. Thank you again. Sign up today. There's our contact information. Feel free to send us an email and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your night.